My name is Eric Cortina and Barndominiums are my business. So today for a Christmas special, I have an episode full of building tips. Let's go in there and I'm gonna show you some things that you can do that will make your life a lot easier and make your home a lot better. This will help you whether you're doing it yourself or you're having a builder do it for you. All right, so as you guys can see, this Barndominium is in the framing stages. We're doing the stud framing. As you guys already know, we use a zip wall system. I had somebody ask me on a video why we use a zip wall system when we're gonna foam it. He says you can just use closed cell foam and then you don't have to use the zip wall system. Well, the thing about it is they're two different things, okay? Foam and sheathing, they almost have nothing to do with each other, okay? You're trying to stop the air before it gets to the foam. I've heard people say that closed cell foam, if you foam it with closed cell, if there's a leak, it'll stop. Foam is not a sealant, it's an insulator, okay? So you do not rely on foam to seal your holes, all right? That building needs to be leak-free before you foam it. And you need to check it, okay? How do you check it? Spray it. Take a water hose, spray around the windows, spray around all the penetrations. I mean, spray it. And you'll find out if there's a leak, okay? So you need to do that before you foam it, okay? Do not rely on foam to stop a leak because it won't. You don't want to rely on the foam to do everything for you, okay? If that's the mentality you're gonna have, then you're always gonna be kicking the can down the road. Don't do that. If you're gonna try to make an airtight home, do everything you can to make it airtight, okay? All right, let's go inside. So as you guys see, this barn though has a nice porch. This is a 10-foot porch. We're gonna have a hardy on this wall and stone up to 3 feet. And then of course they have a parking area out here. This is a roof extension. The difference between a lean-to and a roof extension is the roof extension comes off the gable, where a lean-to would be on this side. Of course there's a porch roof because it comes down and goes out. A lean-to would come off the eave. So anyway, this is a roof extension. They do not have concrete under here. We're gonna do road base and we're just gonna pack it in. So that's what they're doing here. So anyway, let's go inside and take a look. So this is a 3-bedroom Barndominium, 1,600 square feet. So up here, what we're going to do is we're going to have drywall follow the curvature of the roof, okay? So all these trusses are going to be exposed. So as you guys can see, on this side, we're running the wall all the way up. And on this side, we did our 9-foot ceilings. Then we're gonna put a pony wall from there on up. Another thing you're gonna notice on this barn is we have some big windows. A big window, triple window right there. And of course, there's another one. It's gonna be right here. So this living room is gonna get a lot of natural light. So if you're doing your own Barndominium and you're going to have sealed concrete or stained concrete, make sure you get your framers to use blue chalk line. Most framers are gonna wanna use red chalk line. If they do that, you're gonna have a heck of a time erasing those lines. So make sure you let them know that you're gonna seal the floors or you're gonna stain them. So blue chalk line.
Also, make sure your framer doesn't shoot any nails into your concrete outside the walls for bracing purposes. It will ruin your floors.
See this seal? This foam that goes under the stud? That usually only gets done on the perimeter walls, okay? The reason I have them do it on every wall is because these floors are gonna get stained, okay? So what ends up happening is when you're staining the floors, all these interior walls soak up water when you clean the floors, right? So they'll soak up all this water, all this moisture, and then the floor is gonna dry up, but the lumber won't. So then you're gonna go to seal your floors, and that moisture that's in that lumber is going to ruin your seal floors. Okay, so be very careful. Have your framer put seal on all the walls if you're gonna stain the floors or seal them, okay? So there you go, there's your Christmas. This is the Christmas special. I'm gonna give you a lot of tips today, all right? So this is an important show to watch. Another tip, I've said this before, but use 2x8 ceiling joists on everything. The reason for that is if you want to deck your attic, then everything is going to be on the same level. If you use 2x8s and 2x6s, then you're gonna have dips everywhere there's a 2x6. So make them all the same. You can see even on this very small room, we use 2x8s. More than likely, your Barndominium is gonna have big door jambs, okay? The reason for that is, in our case, we use 2x8s. So if you do that, make sure you get a custom door jamb on your door, like this one. Because if not, you're gonna have to deal with it with siding on the outside, or if it swings in, then you're gonna have to deal with it with drywall, okay? You're gonna have to return to it. All right, so be very careful with that. If you have big door jambs, get a special size door jamb for your door. It's gonna save you a lot of headaches. All right, so we decided you need a custom door jamb. What size do you need it? Well, let's do the math. For my purpose, we have a 7/16 sheathing on the outside. Let's call it 1/2 inch, okay? Then we have a 2x8 stud, okay? So that 2x8 stud is 7 1/4 inches. So we have 7 1/4 plus 1/2 inch, that's 7 3/4, okay? We happen to use 5/8 drywall on the inside. So 7 3/4 plus 5/8, it's 8 3/8, okay? Let's add 1/8 of an inch for drywall texture. And so I would order an 8 1/2 jamb for our wall system. Make sure you add it up for yours, and it'll just make your life a lot easier and it'll look a lot better. If you're doing a 2x8 wall like we do here, your headers, they don't need to be flush with the inside. Just like we did here. You can shove them in, push them in, and that's going to leave you room right here to put foam. That's gonna make everything more efficient. You can see all of our headers are inset. So people always ask me how we attach the stud wall to the metal wall. We use this hurricane ties, okay? Put it right here. Okay, that's going to allow these walls to stay together if they try to pull apart, but it'll allow them to move independent of each other, because this wall and this wall are going to move around differently, okay? So that's all it takes. And of course, put them all the way around and put a lot of them. We do it about every 3 feet or so. They haven't done it here, but they will. They're gonna put some here, and they're gonna put some up there, all the way around. Attic ladders. Get an aluminum attic ladder. They have a higher capacity. This one's a 375 pound. And then get the extra wide. You're gonna appreciate that extra room if you're ever having to go up there and take something or whatever. So just get the extra wide aluminum. More likely you're gonna have to special order it. A lot of places don't carry them, but trust me, it's worth the weight and it's worth the investment. You do not wanna put a wood ladder on these Barndominiums or in your home at all. Just get a good attic ladder. It's a one-time purchase. Around your windows, see, we have vinyl windows, double pane. So we have the purlin right here, okay? And then we bring the stud wall to be flush with the purlin, okay? And then we're gonna come around with drywall and just go over here, okay? Like this. Well, there's thermal conduction or thermal bridging that's gonna happen with this purlin. So you run the risk of having moisture issues right here. So what we do is we are very careful to foam the inside of this purlin. All this cavity gets filled with foam to keep that from happening, okay? So this is easy, the other side is easy as well, but the bottom one, this is the one that you really have to be careful with. The bottom one, the foam guy actually has to go from underneath and shoot up, and then the one on top, same situation, but they need to shoot down in there. So you need to make sure you specify that you want those purlins full of foam. If you don't, you may have problems in the future, so be careful with that. Another one that gets missed on a regular basis is your tub. If you have a tub, under the tub, behind it, you know how it's up against the wall? A lot of times they miss that. Make sure they get on their knees and under there and shoot that wall behind the tub, because again, oftentimes it gets missed, nobody catches it, and now you have an area right there that you're gonna have air coming in and out. So be careful about all those things. So remember, you're trying to seal this thing, all right? You're trying to make it airtight. That's the plan, okay? So everything and anything matters. Like I said earlier, your plan is to make it airtight. Don't kick the can down the road, okay? Start with the outside, make it as airtight as possible, then do the foam. But then when you do the foam, make sure everything gets taken care of. Like I said, those purlins, make sure they spray inside, around the windows, behind the tubs, all that. Be very careful with that. The HVAC system is going to be in the attic in this home. So all the ductwork is going to be up there. So you have a couple of options. See, we're going to have this wall go all the way up to the roof, okay? It's going to go all the way around like this. All right, so you have a couple of options. You can simply put vents and returns all the way around. We'll probably put a return in that hallway right here so you don't see it, and then we can have vents, supply vents all the way around. That'll work, or you can do an exposed duct, okay? And of course you can do a couple of ducts coming this way, or you can do one long one coming right down the center. So it's up to you. Talk to your HVAC contractor. He can advise you on which way would work better in your home, but in this situation we have options to do it one way or the other. Because we're having drywall, we're probably going to do it on the wall over here. It just matches better. If we're going to spray this with foam and paint it, the exposed ductwork looks really good. So that would be a way that we might go if we were doing that. All right, here's another tip. If you're doing a stud wall like we're doing here, you're going to have to go around your pipes or your columns. So what ends up happening is the framer will cut around that pipe like he did here, and they'll put their siding and all that good stuff. The problem is right here behind that pipe, we got about a 1/4 inch gap here. Either way, that gap, see that siding is off the ground. So if I was to remove this black paper, I would see daylight right there, okay? So what you want to do is when they're at this point, you can get that pre-mixed concrete from Home Depot or anywhere and fill it in with concrete, okay? You want to make sure that you keep rodents and bugs and everything out of here. Don't give them any way to come in. So fill these in before you foam. All right, so I've told you what to do, during framing and foaming, but at what point do you foam? That's the real question. I see a lot of people put up their building and foam it right away. That is the absolute worst time to foam it, all right? Because you haven't done your framing, you haven't done your penetrations. After you put up your metal building and you frame it, you still have your electricians, your plumbers, and your HVAC contractors that have to do all their pipes, their vents, and their penetrations, okay? Make sure you do all your penetrations before you foam your house. Not only that, every time somebody makes a penetration, make sure they seal it. Very critical. Again, we're trying to make it airtight without foam, okay? If you don't make it airtight or you don't seal your penetrations, when you go to spray that foam, it's gonna squirt out, it's gonna get all over your wall, and you're gonna have a mess. So, building needs to be as airtight as you can get it before you foam it, okay? So, I would advise that you do your foam right before drywall. If you're gonna do stained concrete, by then the floor should be done and covered, okay? You do not wanna get foam on those floors. If you do, you're gonna have a nightmare, okay? So I would advise that you do the floors before you foam it. And like I said, you're gonna protect the floors anyway, so that'll keep foam off the floors. So clean out your walls before you foam. Take a leaf blower and blow them out, okay? Because there's dust that's gonna settle on those walls. I mean, there's people in here cutting boards and sweeping and all that. So all that dirt is gonna settle on your walls. And most people will not do anything about that. So before you foam your walls, take a leaf blower and just blow out your walls. Make sure there's no trash, no dirt, because you do not want to trap any of that dirt between the foam and the metal, okay? We spray directly metal. A lot of people don't like that. That's fine. We do. We don't have a problem with it. They worry about replacing metal down or sheets down the road. We've done it. I will explain how it's done on a different episode, but for now, I don't have a problem spraying directly to the metal, okay? So either way, the point is blow out your walls, make sure they're clean before you foam. All right, so our next tip is buy temporary doors. So as you guys know, we use temporary doors. Then we put a cheap doorknob on here just to keep it closed, keep the wind from swinging it open. This is going to prevent your main doors from getting damaged. Those temporary doors are about 40 bucks. It's well worth the cost. They also come with some cheap hinges. Those will all get replaced when we do the final door install, okay? So get you some temporary doors. Another thing is, make sure you designate a door for everybody to come in and out. If the door swings out, secure it, no one's allowed to use it. Okay, what's gonna happen on a windy day, someone's gonna go out the door, the wind's gonna catch it, it's gonna swing around, the doorknob's gonna hit your siding, it's gonna ruin that, it's gonna break your frame, it's gonna be a nightmare, okay? So if the door swings out, secure it, no one's allowed to use it until the final door comes in and your safety or security measures are put in place so that door doesn't swing completely out. All right, so there were some few very helpful tips for you guys. Whether you're building your own or having one built, these will help you tremendously. They will help you achieve a better home, a tighter home, and a more efficient home. I hope you guys like those tips. Merry Christmas. Subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you next time. We are Texas Barndominiums.